here this morning in the garden of Doctors Sidney and Connie Friedman with Cornelia Oberlander, who designed this garden in 1953.
That's correct. I came to Vancouver on January 5, 1953, having married a classmate of mine at Harvard, and I didn't know what I was going to do. However, Professor Fred Lasserre, head of architecture at UBC, approached me in February 1953 to collaborate with House and Garden for Connie and Sid Friedman. And so I became involved very early on with creating a oasis here.
Can you tell us perhaps some of the things that, looking at it now, you see as the most salient aspects, the important aspects of the design, and how they've survived?
Yes, the whole the grading was the most important, because the difference of the grade of Queensland and the grade down here had to be bridged. And so with this slope planted with heather diagonally to the slope, I could hold the earth. And I also realized very early on that the area which you see now in gravel was bedrock. You couldn't plant anything. Thus, the planting is done in such a way that it blocks out the street and is a quiet garden in here. And Sydney's study was here and Connie's was there. Sydney founded the Department of Anatomy and was a very famous illustrator of anatomy books. And Connie worked in hypertension. And so they could look out onto this courtyard and enjoy all the planting. In 1953, however, there were many more trees, and the University Endowment Land screamed at me, "You got to get rid of them, they're alders, they're no good, they'll fall down, and you have to get rid of them." But I fought to keep every tree. So in 2009, when I was commissioned to redo this house and garden, I took some of the alders down because they were overgrown. But what you see here is a gigantic hemlock, a vine maple, and all this is from the past. And of course, these rhododendrons were from 1953. Dr. Friedman was very advanced in thinking about the climate and our energy needs, and so he had a company come and dig a trench from up there to the house for geothermal heating. This house is geothermally heated, the pool too. So it's absolutely up to date.
That's amazing.
Yes, of course I had to remedy some of the things, which I will show you when we walk around.
Is there a particular, I know that you've just said it yourself, and Dr. Friedman has said it himself on other occasions, that the relationship between the indoor and the outdoor and the views out of this house are something they particularly valued. Do you have a favorite place where this house relates to the outdoor space?
Yes. When we go into the house, you will see the layered look towards the Pacific Spirit Park, and that I always worked on. You don't see the mountains because the trees are too big, but you have the layered look.
I understand that there's something quite special about this gravel area with respect to why it's shaped like a butterfly.
Because the bedrock is right there, and I felt this should have flowing lines. In those days I had flowing lines.
And so that has, in effect, then the land is speaking through the way
Yes.
it's manifested in the
Yes,
design.
and
It's
do you
communicating.
know, nobody talked about ecology in 1953. I realized the native ecology immediately, and also that I couldn't plant anything. And they didn't have any money to blast the bedrock. So I just covered it up with gravel.
And so then it was easy to maintain.
Yeah, and they could sit here like we are sitting now and enjoy themselves. Or else look at it.
Just before you moved to Vancouver,
Where
you
were
had been
you?
working in Philadelphia on social housing projects. Are there any aspects of those designs that you felt you brought to bear on this one?
No.
No,
Because
completely
the
different.
ecology of Philadelphia and this is very different, and I realized that immediately. And that, I think, is one of my fortes, to analyze immediately the site and its ecology. Now, I worked in Philadelphia for Lou Kahn on a very wonderful housing project, which unfortunately is now torn down, and the drawings of which are in the University of Pennsylvania archive with my name on it.
That's wonderful. With the recent renovation of this house, I understand that the fencing around the pool and
Yes,
the various things had to
yes.
be rebuilt.
Yes, I had to rebuild the fence because it needed a little bit of help. But otherwise, the drawing, and I'll show it to you when we go inside, is exactly what I designed when they added the swimming pool in 1966.
And there's another aspect of this renovation that it looks like it worked out very well. The height of the hedge along
Yes.
Chancellor Boulevard.
Yes, it's exactly to be clipped the height of the mullion, as you see in this beautiful picture. This is a hedge from 1953, and the mullion is here of the house, and it's always clipped to the height. Architecture.
Something that interests me, and when you speak about the landscape of what this part of Vancouver would have been at the time, you were thinking about the mood of a landscape, the
Yes.
spirit, the mood of the
Yes, the
site.
spirit.
As you say, it's very different than the East Coast.
Yeah.
Is there anything about this property from the time that you would say about its mood, and has that changed over time?
No,
No.
it's the same. And you know, I'm looking forward to the new owner coming, and I can replace all the heather that's missing. And we will keep the garden exactly as it is.
So, what was it like working with Fred Lasserre?
Very nice, very pleasant, and we didn't know each other too well, but we got it to work together well. And then soon after that, I was commissioned with Fred Lasserre to design the faculty club for Leon Kerner. And there you should have stepped in because they, yeah, they ruined it.
So working with Fred Lasserre and other
Yes.
architects through your career,
Yes,
um, that also is that relationship of your analyzing the site, understanding the garden, and what it needs to be, but working closely with the architect is something that
Yes.
you feel very strongly about.
yes. You see, when I was at Harvard, I realized that only through collaboration with architects could you achieve a fit to the site. Arthur Erickson always used to say, building and site must achieve a fit. And that is what I learned in my student days by collaborating with the architects.
Did Fred Lasserre understand that? I understood
He did too, yeah.
He was very deeply passionate about modern architecture.
Yes, very. But he understood the regional style. And the regional style here is the key. And these houses are disappearing all the time. Mm-hmm.
It also is notable that so many of the plants have survived for 60 years and are in very good condition.
Oh, my dear, look at this rhododendron.
Yeah.
All this has survived, and nothing wrong with it. The hedge, the slope, there is euonymus vegetus, euonymus on there. That they don't have this anymore, so I had to fill in with a vinca. That's the only change. And the juniper survived, and I filled in with the juniper, everything. We did a lot of research to get the same stuff.
At the time when you proposed to handle the slope by having it sloping down from the street, did you? There's something that is out there where people often think that land should be terraced. Did anybody resist your concept, or was it no?
No. Nobody wanted to terrace. Nobody, and grading is more important than what you plant, and practice that. And the stair, isn't it nice?
And there is an aspect of this garden, the planting also does have an emphasis on edible plants.
And we have 5 espalier trees here with apples. You help yourself. They are ripe.
And they're good-sized apples too.
Oh, they're big.
They're ready to eat. Yes. Here we are in the middle of August, and they're ready to eat.
And you know, all the apples ripen 2 months earlier. If I may just tell you, I was in a car lot in 2011, and I spoke to an Inuit up there who told me that the moon had shifted and the sun had shifted and our seasons have shifted. And that is verified now by NASA.
Wow.
That Inuit was very smart. He was quite old, and he was telling us that the seasons are different. Just wait, come September, it'll be very hot.
So to go back to this garden and its life, something that strikes me is that over so many years that the same homeowners lived here and the garden worked for them. They didn't have to change it.
No, it wouldn't.
It suited their lifestyle.
Yeah. Now, very interesting, when Connie died, everybody said, you know, everybody gets advice, said you have to go to Tapestry. So they moved him from this beautiful place to Tapestry. And he was very unhappy and made up his mind to recondition the house to what it was once and the garden. Isn't that beautiful?
So they really valued the design, and they hadn't had to change it.
He loved yellow and red tulips, which grow down here. For Valentine's Day, I brought him the red and yellow tulip, and he died 2 days later.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll tell you about my original plan. This is schematic. It's not a working drawing, but it shows you the house, and it shows you the Queensland Street and Chancellor Boulevard. And it is a triangular lot, which has a grade change about 10 feet from Queensland to the house entrance. In order to be able to bridge this, I made a slope with planting and kept all the trees that were on the site, but interplanted 5 espalier apple trees because they liked apples. And then on the patio, I had originally a fruit tree, but that didn't, it was a crab apple, and it didn't do well, so now we replaced it with a Chinese dogwood. Otherwise, the whole garden is exactly as it was designed, interplanted with ferns and shellel, and as we go around you can see that. And the edges are exactly like this. However, when in 1966 the pool was added, I have planting areas in the pool and also benches, and these are the details, and this was a fence detail of 1966 that is standing today. I redid it from the story.
With the original design of the house, was Fred Lasserre dealing with restrictions about where the house could be
Yes, well,
located on the lot?
he placed it on the lot. I did not have much to do with it except to integrate the lot with the house. Mm-hmm.
Did Fred have anything to say about the landscaping, or was
Oh,
that...
did he understand? He understood everything. He knew plants. He was very knowledgeable about textures, because plants have textures at different light levels. And so we collaborated and got the job done.